right. Continuing working down my list, I should say, not our list. Also, this I don't know how many parts this is gonna be. I have too many movies that I like. I'm a film geek. That's what I can say. I'm a gamer geek and I'm a film geek. What can I say? But back to the 80s then with 1982's Blade Runner. 1982 is a really good film year. And Blade Runner sticks out on my preference list for these movies I never tire of, in the sense that almost all of them are like fast and funny, silly even. But Blade Runner is, of course, Ridley Scott's, masterpiece movie, uh, based on Philip K. Dick's book, which I've read, which is I highly recommend. Very interesting. A lot of more. Uh, it's very different, I would say, from the movie, and it goes into a lot of different scenarios, more than the book or a film does. Usually that is the case, but still, I mean, it's definitely worth looking up. He was a very interesting uh, writer. Blade Runner is both slow and philosophical, although I have had out the philosophical films on this list, like Battle Royale, but it's rather slow and philosophical and rather deep. There is, I would say, next to nothing funny about this movie or in it. Even the production behind it wasn't funny. Funny thing is, though, that the fact that people didn't really, as I understood it, like each other and so during the set, and actually worked sort of to its advantage, at least as far as Harrison Ford's portrayal of Deckard comes, because Deckard is supposed to be this basically suicidal, depressed. He hates his job, and I mean it's a terrible job. He's basically an executioner, but of robots. And what is life? What is life worth? What are memories? If they are implanted, are we that person, or is it fake? What do we feel? How do we work? Are we what's worth? Um, Blah blah blah, all the philosophical issues. But I love this movie, and if like maybe I don't like feel like, oh, I'm gonna put it on, I'm gonna take it out of the DVD box and put it on. But if it happens to run on the telly, even if I've seen it before, I tend to like, you step around and you end up on it because it's mesmerizing. It's almost like going into a meditative state watching that film, and it is, even though it's such a depressing topic and it's a depressing post-apocalyptic world, and it's just gray and rain and misery and pain, but it's so gorgeous to look at, and you could just like some films where like every single shot in it could be a poster or a postcard or it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and the acting in it is superb. You can't tell that people didn't click really. The only thing that stands out to me as being bad in it is the love scene between Rachel and Deckard after she has played the piano, and they've talked about memories and stuff, and she tries to leave his apartment, and he like stops her. That strikes me as awkward. And I don't think necessarily because of the actors, not really, they're two superb actors, so they can work around not possibly clicking, in real life. As far as I know, I wasn't there. I wasn't there, so I can't tell. But Sean Young and Harrison Ford works around it, but the scene in itself is just awkward. Who writes that, that way? Um, but anyway, I suppose it meant to symbolize that she, as an android, needs, or a replicant, I should say, needs help to understand her lust or something. I don't know. It just comes across as awkward and clumsy. Very, very. It's the only thing that annoys me in it because it doesn't fit, and it's not a love scene. Um, but anyway, up to interpretation, I guess. Then we have a much more light-hearted thing, although it has serious themes as well. Working Girl. And funny enough, another Harrison Ford movie. But the reason I have a lot of Harrison Ford movies in my favorites is because I am still, but I also was, yeah, a huge fan of him, even bigger, back when I was younger. He was maybe my first, like, crush on a celebrity. I've always loved Harrison Ford. He always seemed like genuine, down to earth. He always played flawed characters, more or less. Some would argue with me there, but I mean, he almost always played flawed characters. And he also had this flawed look, which always attracted me. He had a crooked nose, he had the scar, and he had a crooked smile, and I thought that was absolutely lovely. Sure, he was more fit than most your normal Joe would be, but I was attracted to his genuineness, down to earthness, and also his like quirky looks. He didn't look. He sort of became the look of the macho man, typical action hero, but I never saw him like that. I saw him like a normal person would look. Just, he had his flaws, and I loved that about him. Um, and he usually played very strong characters that resonated with me. They were, but I mean also like Han Solo, he's a bad guy, and I don't mean bad boy, I mean bad guy. He's a fucking crook. He shoots people. He's not a good guy. He just happens to be on the good guy team, and then he's counted as a good guy, And I guess he sort of redeems himself in a way, but I mean he's a smuggler for Christ's sake. Um, so he's played his fair, and I mean, Indiana Jones was incredibly flawed. Rick Deckard is incredibly flawed. Um, Jack Ryan, flawed. I mean, he's a normal family man. To me, normal, but with an extreme sense of morale, strong moral compass, put it that way, I guess. But some people will argue with me. Some are like, "Oh, Harrison Ford is so boring because he always plays this perfect action hero." It's like, what movie did you watch? But whatever. I guess when he played the American president in Air Force One, maybe that was a bit, But he still, yeah, he had a more strong moral compass, but he still pondered. I don't think his decisions in that movie were automatically um, easy. I didn't read it as that, but anyway, um, Working Girl was the one I was supposed to talk about because he also starred in that one, and it is one of my favorite movies, and I can watch it again and again. Uh, it's another one of those films where I think that everyone is perfectly cast. We have Melanie Griffith, Sigourney Weaver, and Harrison Ford, and some bit parts. Joan Cusack is fantastic as her best friend, and I think one of the Baldwins is her boyfriend at the beginning of the film, but he's not by the end of it, because she upgrades. Woo, you go, girl. Anyway. Working Girl is one of those. It's a fantastic feel-good movies without being. I don't know how to put it, but so many of the feel-good movies in that sort of feel-good categories are so dumbed down. Um, but Working Girl isn't dumbed down. I don't feel that it ever treats the audience like they're dumb. Like, oh, now we're gonna make you feel good by having the girl get the boy in the end, and she gets the job that she's worked so hard for. I don't feel it like that, like so many good feel movies do. What's the I think the British started off that sort of slang. I never heard it before this. I only knew it as a comedy and or romantic comedy, and it's a fantastic romantic comedy at that. It's incredibly charming, incredibly cute. You really feel for the characters. You love to hate Sigourney Weaver as the like evil boss type person, but even in a comedy like this, she is not portrayed as your typical bitch who is just, stepping over corpses to get what she wants. She is a person, and I mean, she does things because she thinks this is the way to do them. She thinks she has reason. She even, in the end is fantastic as well because she gets name called, uh, Boney. Oh, pardon me. Well, no, she gets called a bony ass or bony ass bitch, even maybe. No, get your bony ass out of here. That's it. And she like stands up for herself and just say, "I don't have to stand for that kind of talk," which is correct. I mean, her being slim or what you call it has nothing to do with her uh the things she has done wrong, the people she has stepped on, or how she has conducted work unprofessionally, stealing ideas from others, and parading them around as her own. That has nothing to do with the physical appearance. So I'm on side Sigourney for that one. But for the rest of the film, you just love to hate her. She's vicious but smart and sexy, and she's a tip. If you want to have a look at, um, people are so afraid these days to make sexy and funny female characters. I've sort of hint on the subject in my Ghostbusters trailer reaction and stuff like that, but look at this character. And others as well that Sigourney Weaver has played in particular. She can be both funny and sexy. So can Jamie Lee Curtis, so can Jennifer Tilly, and other actresses with them. Perhaps more in other countries' films than American ones. But it's very possible and very appreciated. I mean, God. It's not like it should be something weird. So Working Girl always makes me feel good. I think it is a very human picture, and it isn't dumbed down. It feels very genuine. Again, I think that's one of the words that keep coming back to me again and again when I do these. I want the films to be. They can be silly, they can be serious, they can be slow, they can be fast, but if they're genuine, there's something there that draws me back in. It's like, I don't know, it's like a confirmation that most people are nice. Most people want to do good. I guess that's an appeal. I don't know. It's a theory anyway. I guess another one of those types of films that is like feel good, it ends well, and it feels genuine. It's actually Pretty in Pink. It's a John Hughes production, I believe. He either wrote it or produced it or something, but he didn't direct it. And he's also made a few films that I find interesting, but I'm usually not interested in, and never was interested in, teenage dramas, comedies. I've just never been interested in teenagers and their issues. I guess I missed that bit. But Pretty in Pink, and this goes totally against my character because this should be a film that I should not like at all. It should actually be on a list that I'm about to make, where I list films that I shouldn't like, but I do. Maybe I'll mention it again. I'm also making, I'm also thinking of making films that I should like, but I don't. Um, I don't know. It's just absolutely charming, extremely well acted. I loved Molly Ringwald. I also am one of the. This is a film where it's a love triangle, and it's about rich versus poor, sort of, or the thoughts. Um, what you call it? The class differences in schools. Uh, I totally missed out on that when I was in school, but I understand that class differences exist when I got older. I just didn't bother with them when I was in school. I didn't fit anywhere, so I just said, fuck everyone, I'm going solo. So when I got older, I understood about it, and I could understand when someone was saying, "Oh, you got patched up pants, do you?" I was like, "Yeah." Well, I don't care. I didn't even see it as an insult. I didn't realize it was like, oh, it's because you've inherited your pants from your older sisters, and they had to patch them. Ooh. Yeah. I was so disinterested in clothes, disinterested in social company. I just thought everyone else was wrong. I didn't understand anyone else. What were they doing? What the hell were they talking about, you know? Who understands teenagers? They just make up problems where none exists, is what I felt. And then a few actually had real problems, but then they never spoke, did they? So you didn't actually get to hear about the real problems. Anyway, Pretty in Pink. I thought it was a lovely love story, and I was also one of the few that actually the original story had the geek Ducky getting together with Andy, Molly Ringwald's character. And so it was poor with poor, which felt more like a, stick with your own kind and he was always there type of thing. But I liked the version they ended up with Molly Ringwald's character Andy getting together with Blaine. That's not a name, that's a major appliance. Which is one of the funniest things ever in a movie. Blaine, the rich kid, played by Andrew McCarthy, and I thought that actually was a happier ending and made more sense in with the theme of the story, class differences and such. I thought it was lovely that they got together because he overcame his fear of embarrassing his friend with being with a poor person. Uh, and she forgave him. I thought that was more beautiful, and also, you know, she, as portrayed, she was in love with him, and he was in love with her. It would have been sad if they decided to not go for it because of their class differences, rather than having, sure, Ducky, her lifelong friend, had a crush on her and was in love with her since way back for longer. But if she wasn't in love with him, you don't pity. I mean, what it would just feel like getting together with someone for pity's sake, or for that you're afraid that they get sad by you saying no, which I didn't felt fit the story. But so there you go.